Welcome, everyone. Today I'm here with Fabiana. We are going to be talking about wellness as a core business strategy and humanizing leadership. Fabiana, do you want to kick us off?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you, Jeremy, for having me here. It's awesome to connect with you and the community. In short time we have here together, I do want to dive deep as much as possible into why integrating a strategic wellness plan within teams is not just another like nice to have or perk as we sometimes think about. Wellness, when embedded into the core of an organization, becomes a transformative force. And that's what I've seen within organizations that I've worked at, enhancing not just productivity, but creativity, innovation, deep-rooted culture. So before getting into specifics, maybe if you want me to share why I'm so passionate about this and why I got into this.
Yeah, I would love to hear.
Perfect. So basically nearly 10 years ago, I made a radical life change. At the time, I was a driven entrepreneur, business leader, fully immersed in like the hustle and the grind, as we all are here. And then I met my now husband, and together we decided to leave the life behind and sail around the world for nearly 4 years. So we were living on a sailboat, very minimalistic during 4 years and a little bit more than that. And that transformative journey completely reshaped my outlook on life and work. I became deeply curious about wellness at an individual level, but mostly within business environments. And this curiosity led me to dive deep into extensive studies, going beyond the surface level wellness trends to explore practices that truly nurture the human side of work while delivering measurable operational results, which is what we all want. So 7 years ago, this newfound passion that I had in well-being led me to found Afluir, which is a wellness-focused initiative that now supports individuals and groups by creating wellness strategies. And this is now what I implement within Volcano Summit, where I serve as COO. And our mission is to be the example of when implementing strategic wellness strategies, then we can transform both individuals, organizations, and the operation at large. So with that, I would love to hear from you. What is for you wellness within the work environment?
Yeah. And I'm curious to hear yours too. So for me, wellness, I'm very focused on exercise, sleep, nutrition, quality, and timing. So for me, like whatever the timing that people want to wake up and sleep is, like that's different for each person, 5 a.m., 8 a.m., 10 p.m., 10 a.m., whatever. For me, I wake up every day exactly at 5 a.m. I've seen the research on if you vary that wake and sleep time by more than 30 minutes, that it decreases that cognitive performance. And because I'm so measured with every single thing that I do and my energy levels and what I can get done in a day, I see that happen. So I wake up every day, every single day exactly at 5 a.m. and go to bed like 9:30, 9:45, whatever. My exercise time is every single morning, 6 a.m. I've posted a post on this and people can see it on my profile. And I eat at the exact same times and the exact same meals and nutrition quality. And then I have reliable emotional relationships, friends and etc. And that matters too. So and that carries into productive conversations with all the CEOs that I'm advising and talking to and the team and everything too. So that's my very high level of wellness, and I'd love to hear yours too.
Absolutely. And I do the same. I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning and go to bed at 9:45 every day. And I think that's what it is for me. What you mentioned, the consistency and the intention and consciousness that you do it with. So it's not this one-time effort, which a lot of organizations or founders say like, okay, I'm just going to have like this one little thing. But it is for me, it goes beyond like yoga mats and green smoothies. Absolutely. It's about creating environments where you or people can show up as themselves. Like, for example, this routine that is very specific on a daily basis for you and me, it might work, but it might not work for other people. So also understanding that it's not a one size fits all. It is important to understand the science behind all of these like biohacking wellness strategies that must be implemented to function well on a mental level, on a physical level, to really show up and do the work that you want to do. But for me, it's not just about like doing a one team retreat if we're talking about organizations or a meditation session, but it is weaving into the fabric of how a company or we operate, weaving it into our day-to-day. So one of the main strategies that we implement at Volcano Summit is humanized leadership. And this is where collaboration really kicks in. It's how we encourage a leadership style that fosters empathy, psychological safety, and it's for like little things. How we start every single meeting is what's your word of today? How are you feeling and being today? And it's going above and beyond, like, I'm good. How are you? Like this doesn't mean anything anymore. So it's encouraging these, like, touching base with you as a human being first, if we're talking about a team, as we do at Volcano, and then getting into the connection creation and being very frank about how we're all real and operating at a human level every single day.
I love it. I love the word at the beginning of the meeting. For me, my version of that, and for anybody watching, like maybe coming up with a version or think of what your version is. For me, my version is when I get on a call with somebody, I will ask them what have been your top three feelings this week, and for I see across a lot of humans and CEOs, there is the more feeling type and then there's a more thinking type. And so for my feeling types, I get really, really good results when I'm asking them, like, what are your top three feelings this week? And they immediately, like, you can see them pull back microexpression wise, body language wise, and they're like, and they're feeling into it, right? And they're saying it. Versus if I ask one of my more thinking logical ones, they're like, I don't know about feelings. Like, I'm thinking those things maybe. So I ask them, like, what are your focuses or thoughts? And I think that's a really good thing to be able to check in with people and figure out, like, oh, they were more overwhelmed anxiety. Okay, that's maybe somewhere where we're going to start talking about today, or you're sad, or you're really excited. Like, that's a context setting start, as opposed to just coming in with a meeting agenda and saying, here's what we need to do today, and treating somebody like a robot. It's more like the humanizing leadership. It's like, let's touch base first, get the context around what's happening today, this week, and then let's start our meeting from there. So I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is what, in the end, it results in reducing burnout, as we've seen it in the past, because then I matter, the person matters. So if I am stressed, if I am sad, if I'm whatever, it's valid. Okay, let's talk about this. It's not going to be something that's going to take up all the meeting, but it's something that's going to make space to address something that is important, to see strategically what the person can do, being the leader, so that your team can actually function. And that's why I think that wellness is a multiplier. It's not a nice to have. It's not something that's just an extra. We have to, and I truly believe that we have to weave it into our data. So if you want to be good and you want to do your best, it's reducing stress, it's promoting better sleep, it's eating better food. But that comes into knowing what works for you, to have that mental clarity, to help people better and to make better decisions. Because just by, like, say, if you sleep 6 hours and 6 days in a row, your mental clarity and your capacity, your decision making reduces by 50%. So just knowing this is like, okay, I have to prioritize sleep. Like, I have to finish this report and whatever, but I have to sleep is better. It's more important and it's a priority, because otherwise my decision making capacity is going to reduce by 50%. And I've seen it in startups, in organizations. They're in critical stages of their growth or their operations. When they introduce wellness as a strategic way, then you can see how there's not overloading of teams, and then people thrive and the company thrives, the operation thrives. We have to really think how to make this actionable. So it's not, again, just like a fluffy thing that we're talking about, that it's trendy, because it is, but how are we making it actionable in, like, say, if you don't have a wellness strategy, in three ways, 3 actions that you're going to start implementing today with your team, with yourself, in an intentional way. And that requires commitment. That requires going outside of your comfort zone. That requires going and doing some things that are maybe not necessarily part of your day-to-day strategy, but it has to be part. It has to be. And that's me talking. That's Fabiana talking. It has to be, but you can try it for yourself and do the experiment for 1 month. Just like you're doing, I don't know, financial reviews of your company. Do a wellness review of your company and of yourself. Measure it. Measure the outcomes, and you're going to be surprised, basically.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's super important. And we're in the last like 15 seconds, so I'll just say my last thoughts on this of emphasizing what you're saying, where it's more than just a nice to have, is the way I look at it. And I write 4 billion variable functions for companies. Is the way I'll look at it, just very high level, quick. Is like, you can take your exit value of your company or a target revenue, take your exit value, divide by your valuation multiple, get your revenue, divide by your year-over-year growth, like based on comps in the marketplace. You get to your monthly growth numbers, month-over-month growth, and then you get to what product and service you need to be building. And if you take the engineering lens of like Jira points, which actually abstracts to all productivity points across all humans, you then have a certain number of productivity points each day. that is measurable, that is like actually used for public companies and financials. And then you say, okay, based on my exercise, sleep, nutrition, A/B testing that I'm doing unique for me, I can see how I'm impacting that productivity points, which affects the exit multiple. And this is a very rigorous financial way. And I've written algorithms on it. So this is something people should definitely very much look into. I know we have a lot more we could talk about, Fabiana, but thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you. That was awesome.